when people have no idea what a sociopath even is, but they're going to make a video about it. And they're going to try to explain to you what one is using basic human characteristics to distinguish from a normal person to a sociopath, aka, according to this video we're about to watch, a normal person, I guess. But we're, as a sociopath, I'm going to be the one who, throws the gauntlet down, and I'm going to play the judge in this, and we're going to, decide whether or not this is, factual information or not. And yeah, I think this is going to be fun, right? Like, I'm having a good time. Are you? So we're going to go ahead and watch this. This is 8 signs you're dating a sociopath. Being reviewed by a sociopath. With my honest, my honest input on this, So let's go ahead and get into it.
In order to get close to someone, you must let your guard down. That's why it's always such a big risk to confess your feelings. Experiencing a few heartbreaks is to be expected in the world of dating, but it's a whole nother problem getting involved with a sociopath. Wondering if you're in danger?
Oh my god, if you're in danger. Listen here, motherfucker. Like, look, I don't get offended easily, and this is true, I don't. Like, if I seem like I am, I'm usually putting on a show, just for comedy's sake. But this is one of those things that I've always actually gotten very irked about, because I really hate how stupid people are about this. Because they're going to sit here and try to make us look like some kind of fucking Saturday morning cartoon villain, and it's really the dumbest shit ever. I mean, it also doesn't really help whenever you got some fucking alt-left looking girl here with purple hair, and, her eyes are on fire. To sympathize, or not to sympathize, but to, give you the analogy of, like, some nefarious deeds are about to come. So let's go ahead and 16 seconds in, we're going to have fun.
Here are 8 warning signs you're dating a sociopath.
Warning signs, ready.
1. They come off strong and move the relationship quickly.
Okay, like, this one, maybe, but I don't technically do this. I've had some people say this in the past before, but, I'm really not doing that. What generally happens is people just get really comfortable around me, and they kind of feel like I'm just moving it on quickly, which I'm not, because I'm not going to sit here and, like, date somebody and in the first week be like, I love you. I don't do that kind of shit. I'm also not going to date somebody and try to fuck them in the first week either, or try to make promises of, like, living together or marriage. Like, I do, like, talk about, like, I want to get married. Like, that's just shit that have mentioned before. But that's a no need or no way of me saying, like, hey, let's just go do it, like, right now, So, like, I think this is already stupid.
Your partners say they loved you after just a few dates?
No.
Sociopaths thrive on speed, and they move the relationship fast to prevent you from changing your mind. It might seem exciting at first, but you'll have...
Also, like, I can't speak for everyone. Like, through my own experiences, like, I don't do this. Generally because, like, I like to know who the fuck I'm talking to beforehand, because I have made this mistake of, like, just not necessarily speed dating, but just kind of, like, getting comfortable with somebody just a little too quickly and realize I can't stand this girl, and I was stuck with her for 3 years. But I wouldn't necessarily say I was, like, speed dating, because I didn't do that, of course. I didn't be like, hey, I love you really quickly. It took me, like, 6 months to really feel anything for this chick. And it wasn't really, like, anything high. She's a good person, though. Like,
a harder time untangling yourself from their web of lies, and you'll believe they're more invested in the relationship than they actually are. 2. You can't...
Also, I like how it's somebody who's not even a sociopath trying to tell you exactly what we do. Like, that's funny to me.
Can't stay mad at them for long. So
that is subjective right here. You can't stay mad at somebody that's a sociopath for very long. That sounds like you have a trusting issue. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're the problem, per se. Like, if you forgive me for anything I do, that's entirely on to you. Like, that's not my problem if you do that. Generally, whenever I fight with somebody, no matter what, I try to work it out with them, because I don't want to fucking deal with it. If I feel like somebody's mad, I'm going to sit there and be like, no, we're going to get through this shit, or I'll give you a little bit of space, and then overall, at the long run of it, we're just going to kind of talk it out. I always end up, like, befriending people who screwed me over in the past. Like, I have a lot of friends who are pretty shitty people, and, just coming from a shitty person, like, we've all done really shitty things to each other, but I always come back and, like, try to work it out with them, But, I mean, if you stay mad at me, you stay mad at me. If you don't, you don't. I mean, it's whatever. I don't personally care if somebody's mad at me, like, no matter who they are.
Sociopaths are master manipulators. They know which button to push to make you trust them. Psychologist Bill Eddy notes that common patterns to watch out for are big promises they make and can't live up to, telling exaggerated stories, and making big...
I think everybody tells an exaggerated story, and for the big promises, like, I wouldn't necessarily say that's like a sociopathic trait. I feel like that's just a human trait, like a human emotion, like by that logic, that would be implying that every fucking teenager in the world has been a sociopath at some point, which is obviously not the fucking case, because it's something you have to be diagnosed with. Antisocial personality disorder, you know.
Plans for the future that have no actual foundation. 3. They're incredibly good in bed.
Whoa, shit, hey. I will take that as a fucking compliment, even though I'm the most... On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give myself a fucking solid 3. And that's just me being fucking modest. At best, I could be a solid 1. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm a goddamn god. Even though my favorite pickup line I ever used to pick up girls in the past was like, I'm blocked from the waist up, but God from the waist down. You know, to strike a little bit of interest and then, you know, horribly disappoint. But I had fun.
Yes, this is a sign. Before you roll your eyes, get this. Sociopaths are not only good with their words, but good at sex. They'll make you feel like you have amazing sexual chemistry, but they're not in it because they want to please you.
I see.
Instead, the sex is all for their ego. Sociopaths.
I mean, like, again, I can't speak for everybody, but, no, it's generally more of like, you know, sex is good. Like, you know, when I have sex, it's kind of like, it's fun. You know, it should be fun for both of us, because if my partner's not having fun, then why the fuck am I having fun? Like, that's half the fun, as if they're having fun, you know? I wouldn't say it's for ego by any means. I'm not sitting there just getting off, like, to myself in the mirror, which I have looked at myself in the mirror. Like, don't take that one and twist it anyway. But what I'm saying is, like, have you ever seen, I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was basically where Christian Bale played that one guy. I can't, like, American Psycho or whatever. Yeah, that movie. Where he was just, like, looking at himself on the camera, and he was just, like, flexing and shit. Like, that is probably what they're talking about. But I've never done shit like that, so I think it's kind of stupid. But, again, I'll take the compliment of being, you know, a god in bed, so...
love control, and they will use sex as a weapon to remain dominant.
That sounds like any kind of fucking woman ever. I wouldn't say that's a fucking sociopath. That just women do that in general. And that's not even a sexist remark. Like, women literally use sex as like a weapon. They use it as like a way to get what they want. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it can be a bad thing. Like, it's like a reward. You have to do something to earn it, you know? You just can't have it organically because you're both turned on. You have to generally make them happy or something just to get that.
4. They don't let you meet their friends. And here's why. Sociopaths don't have close relationships with many people.
Okay, I will agree with that. We don't have close relationships with a lot of people. I generally do not. I will agree with that statement, but as for the meeting my friends, that's not true at all. Like, every relationship I've ever had has pretty much met my friends. And, like, in some instances, they've lived with them. So, I mean, like, this is just stupid.
Psychotherapist Ross Rosenberg says that they don't want friends unless they need them. So even if they claim to have friends, the connections they have are superficial.
Kinda, not really, but kinda. I don't need friends. Like, I don't care about hanging out with people. Usually, like, I don't mind doing it. Like, I hop in Discord and talk to my friends like every day. But if I don't talk to them for like 6 months at a time, it doesn't really bother me per se. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I miss you, because I kind of don't think about it. I have like one friend that I'll like continuously talk to every day, and you know, he knows who he is. That's my best friend. But like, other than that, I guess I kind of agree with that. But I'm never gonna sit there and be like, no, my girlfriend or whoever can't like meet my friends. Like, that's just, I don't even know where you got that from.
Although it's nice to spend quality time with your lover, if your partner refuses to participate in group hangouts, this might be a potential red flag. Before we continue any further...
Hey, babe, I'm sorry. Like, my friend, he's got to work. You know, he's like 30, and he's got a full-time job. I'm sorry that you can't meet him. I guess I'm just an evil, fucking manipulative bastard.
We just want to point out a really impactful Abusive X series by the wonderful Illymation. If you haven't watched it yet, be sure to check it out.
I'm not.
5. They break the rules a lot. Who doesn't like a bad boy?
They break the rules a lot. Everybody breaks the fucking rules. There's not a single person outside of like maybe a small child that hasn't broke the fucking rules at least once. Like, that's not a sociopathic fucking trait. Like, of course, like, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm contradicting myself or anything, because, like, everybody fucking does it. But yeah, I don't really have a regard for, like, rules or whatever, and I do follow the law, like, for instance, but if I was to break a law or break a rule, I don't really care. It doesn't faze me one bit. I wouldn't say that's like a nefarious thing where my eyes have to catch on fire, or make a 4-minute fucking video and transform this into 10 minutes of content about me ranting about it. So no, that's just, it's fucking dumb.
Or a bad girl every once in a while. They really know how to live life on the edge, but so do sociopaths. Although
Bro, all I do is play video games. Like, what are you talking about?
not every sociopath goes off and break the law,
Yeah.
they have a tendency to be overly spontaneous and take pleasure from defying authority, all while disregarding other people's feelings.
That just sounds like an
6.
asshole.
You often make excuses for them. If there's
Again, that one is just entirely on somebody else. That's not really something you should blame me for, per se. So, like, if somebody doesn't like me, and if I'm in a relationship with you and somebody doesn't like me, and you're making an excuse for them, that's not a sign that I'm a fucking sociopath. That just means that you fucking want to defend me. Like, I don't even know what this logic is. Like, I'm sure she's gonna try her best to explain it or whatever, but this is just fucking dumb. Like, this is such a dumb fucking thing to say. I'm glad I'm not having an aneurysm.
one thing consistent about a sociopath, it's their lack of taking responsibility for their own actions.
That's kind of true. I don't like taking responsibility for my own actions. And the main reason for that is I generally don't believe I'm really doing anything wrong. You may disagree with that or whatever, try to dispute that or argue against it or whatever. I really don't care. But I generally don't think anything I'm doing is in the wrong. But I'm also very polite, and I will sit there and apologize for it, whether or not I really believe in being, you know, apologetic or not. But it's a good way to diffuse situations, and I don't want to fight with people, especially people that I am somewhat close with or am close with. It's not in my best interest to do that, and I don't feel like unnecessary drama is an important thing or whatever. But I'm also incredibly self-aware, so if I do something that I know is actually bad, per se, I don't really feel bad for it, but I will take responsibility for that and own up to my own actions and try to do better so that I don't have a repeat of that. So in a way, it's kind of right, but not really.
Do you find yourself always apologizing, even when you're not at fault? Or ever come home and discover more messes you have to clean up? Sociopaths will use people to get what they want, but will play the victim.
Okay, I do that. I do, like, use people to get what I want. Not in a nefarious way, of course, but like my friends, for instance, I will sit there and pretend not know how to do something to get them to do it for me. Or just expect them to do, like, heavy lifting for me or transfer goods for me, like moving furniture or shit on a truck, or helping me with something in a game. Like, I'll expect them to do that for me, but I'm never going to play the victim card. Like, I don't... Maybe, like, again, I can't speak for everybody, but that's something I don't fucking do.
Victim card and say that they need you if you bring up any of your concerns. 7. They never seem to grow up. Initially, this might have been what attracted.
My God, guys, did you know you're a sociopath if you play with Legos all the way up to age 99? Sorry that you never grew up. I'm sorry you had to find out this way, but you have the same condition I have, according to this YouTube video. Besides, you know, men don't really grow up. We just grow bigger. Like, and you know, here's the thing about me too. I used to be the worst fucking person in the world, in my own opinion. Not really, of course. I never, like, murdered anybody or anything like that. But, like, I've done some pretty heinous things. I've said some pretty heinous things. I've been overfilled with ego at one point, but I've been humbled since then. And anybody who's known me, like, properly in, like, all of these years, like my best friend Singleton, for instance, he'll tell you straight up, like, I've been humbled. I'm a completely different person than who I was. So I 100% do not fucking agree with this.
You to them. Unpredictable, excitable, and even reckless at times, they know how to keep you feeling young at heart. But there's a difference between youthfulness and immaturity. High-functioning sociopaths can hold down jobs, but low-functioning ones often do not. The DSM, a tool psychologists use to diagnose patients, also states that sociopaths frequently show poor judgment and fail to learn from their mistakes. 8.
Okay, well,
they seem too...
I mean, if anything, I'd say I'm high-functioning, but that's stupid. I do learn from my mistakes. Any mistakes that I actually acknowledge that are mistakes, I do kind of, you know, adapt from that so I don't have a repeat of it, because, you know, as a sociopath, we don't like having things that don't go in our favor. So I don't know what the fuck.
good to be true. Sociopaths.
This is the only one I will 100% fucking agree with. Yes, we do seem to be too good to be true. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are basically like modern day vampires. We're very charming. We're very charismatic in that regard. Like people, it's very easy for us to like make friends and talk to people. I don't like making friends. I don't like really hanging out with people too much, but I can talk to anybody. You know, I can just do anything. I can adapt to people. Part of the thing I do is like when I meet somebody new and I kind of want to talk to them, I kind of like adapt their personality like pretty quickly. It's not like I'm doing it on purpose. It's just kind of what I do. I'm basically like absorbing your energy in a way, which is why I said it's kind of vampiric. And a lot of people just want the idea of meeting somebody that's similar to them. And I get that. Like that's something I kind of do. It's not that I do it on purpose, of course. It just kind of happens. Like I said, I'm pretty self-aware. I know what's going on with me whenever it happens. It's not like I'm just doing it like to do it. Yeah, I will agree with this. We do seem to be too good to be true.
Know how to charm the pants off anyone, but especially to the people they want to get romantically involved with. They have an incapacity for love, but know how to mirror your emotions, making you feel closer to them than you really are. Initially, you'll feel like the two of you are soulmates, but in reality, they simply know how to be everything you desire in a partner.
See, what the fuck? Hold on. Like, what is this face right here? Like, I'm doing this. I kind of agree with it, but not really. Like, look, there are some women that I've been with that I actually really cared about, like, a lot. And then I've said it before a few times in, like, previous videos. Like, it's like a switch in our brains. We can turn it on, turn it off. I usually keep mine turned off. So I don't really feel anything outside of anger and annoyance and just, like, eye rolls or whatever. I do get mad very often. I'm usually mad like every single day, but I can turn it on where I actually do want to care about somebody. I'm not going to sit here and do this stupid shit right here where I'm just having some nefarious thing where I'm just like, oh, I got to take advantage of this bitch. You know, like it's just stupid. This is stupid.
Everything you desire in a partner. Do you recognize any of these habits? Not sure what sets apart a sociopath from a psychopath? Psych2Go does have a video on this, so be sure to check it out.
Joy, like I can only imagine it's gonna be like the same fucking thing as this one, where you just probably googled some shit, which you just kind of like self-diagnosed some shit, and then you made a fucking like 4-minute video that somehow got you 2 million fucking views, which yeah, I've already disliked it by the way, because I did actually watch this video yesterday. Yeah, see, I already commented on it too. As a sociopath, this is all you know, bullshit. Like, I've been reading some of the comments on this, too, and it's just, like, people that are just like, oh my god, that explains how my ex was such an asshole. And it's just kind of like, okay. Yeah, like this one right here, sociopaths are incredibly good in bed. Finally, I am convinced that I'm not a sociopath. You don't have to be good in bed to be a sociopath. You just have to actually be a fucking sociopath. Like, I don't understand why it's like, oh, you're diagnosed with a mental disorder, suddenly your dick game is, like, off the fucking charts. Like, what kind of stupid fucking logic is that? What if two sociopaths kind of date each other? Well, I mean, that's pretty much everybody in Hollywood, so... honestly, this doesn't sound like a sociopath to me. It sounds like a narcissist. Yeah, 100 fucking %. I didn't even see this comment, but yeah, this is pretty much what a narcissist is, which sociopaths, in a way, are narcissists. But that is a completely different thing. Like, you don't have to be a sociopath if you're... I'm sorry, if you're a narcissist, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a sociopath. So this is just fucking asinine stupidity. And it just kind of annoys me. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just reading a lot of this shit. And it's like, I feel bad for sociopaths. They don't choose to be like this. I mean, you shouldn't feel bad for us, because here's the thing. It's like, yeah, we're not choosing to have this disorder, but we also don't fucking care. We're not seeking help for it. I mean, some of them might. I'm surprised if they did, because like, we generally don't believe anything's wrong with us. Like, I don't think I'm in the wrong. So, why feel bad for us? We're literally like apex predators of the human world. Like, that's how I view it. Like, we're devoid of emotion for the most part. Usually calm and collected, not necessarily always, but like, we're usually logical. Like, we base our thoughts off of logic. And I feel like if a zombie apocalypse happened, like, people like me would definitely survive it. Like, that's just how I feel. Do you think you could do a video about people blah blah blah? You left out one important fact. They're pathological liars. Usually, yeah. But here's the thing, like, I try not to lie to people that I know or people that are in my life actively. I don't like to do that because it's not good. And if I was to lie to somebody that I know and I get called out for it or whatever, then it just ends up to be problematic. Now, if it's somebody that I don't know, I have no problem doing this to. I don't really care about what their opinion of me is. I mean, personally, I don't care what anybody's opinion of me is unless I'm like investing myself in you. But I don't know, like, if it's like me talking to like literally anybody I know I'm never gonna see again, I could lie about fucking anything. I could be like, oh yeah, like I'm from another country, like I'll even try to do an accent. Yeah, I don't know. I almost dated a sociopath recently. I think she knew I liked her too. I was being manipulated by her and ignored all the signs of possibly unhealthy future relationships since I had a mega crush on her. A few weeks ago, I realized that I was doing it and I stopped, and I'm glad I did. This video helped me further solitude my position. Well, congratulations, 3 years ago, dude. Random dude with no profile picture on, you know, YouTube. If you believed anything in this fucking video, you're a bit of an idiot. So, I'm sorry. I mean, maybe you're uneducated in this whole thing. That's fine. I'm happy to answer your questions. I've done it plenty of times. The problem with that is, whenever I do answer these questions, I have a lot of people who are, like, doing, like, studies for school. I get this all the time on my other sociopath videos, and all they think is like I'm some kind of fucking, literally, like I said, a nefarious Saturday morning cartoon villain. And I'm kind of like, you literally don't understand what you're fucking even learning about. And I'm like, you're in college. You're literally in college to study like the human psyche. And you got like the worst fucking idea of what we even are. Like, to me, it's like thinking like a fucking grizzly bear is like some fucking shit from Futurama or something. I don't know. Maybe it's a bad analogy. This whole thing is stupid, but I don't know. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't believe everything you see online.